Student loans are coming back, ladies and gentlemen. It is here. And let me tell you, a lot of people are about to start feeling the pinch. About to start feeling the pinch really hard. It's pretty crazy. So millions of student loan borrowers prepare for higher payments. Millions of student loan borrowers are bracing for significantly higher monthly payments after the Trump administration moved to wind down one of the federal government's most affordable repayment options. I'll immediately pause here, and I will say this out of the gate. I've had so many people on my show that are making borderline almost six figures, and then they're on like an income-driven repayment where they owe like $25 a month on $80,000 of student loans. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? I absolutely believe that if someone goes to college correctly, and especially if they're doing something like maybe teaching or, doing something that our society demands or that we're trying to encourage or subsidize from a federal or state motive, but, less people are going into, so, and there's not a high pay and they have to borrow a lot of money to do it. Okay, it makes sense to do something like income-based repayment for that. I get it. But someone that's like a fucking engineer making a lot of money, all of a sudden an income-based repayment, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. What do you recommend? Advice for 16-year-olds just getting into investing? I'm not going to advise of what to buy, but you know what's really nice out there? There's, I don't know, S&P 500's a yummy little thing. That's something interesting that I've looked into personally. I don't know. It's pretty good. I don't know. But that's not an advice. I would never advise that. No, not of course. Interest was set to start accruing again Friday. Well, that's today. For the nearly 8 million people enrolled in the Saving on a Valuable Education Plan, or SAVE plan. The Education Department said it is making the change to comply with a federal court injunction that blocked the plan. Which is fair enough. A court did get involved. That is true. Which was introduced under the Biden administration, the SAVE plan. The loans remain in forbearance while courts decide SAVE's future, meaning borrowers still aren't required to make monthly payments. Oh, okay. But that's actually damaging to borrowers in the SAVE plan, right? It's almost like making them make minimum monthly payments will at least help chip away at the interest, but now the balance is just going to get higher while interest is accruing. Like, that's damaging to people with that. But the change, coupled with the Trump administration's plan to eventually phase out the program as a part of a retreat from federal student loans, has some borrowers casting about for different options. Casting about? That's really interesting. I don't think I've actually heard that phrase. Casting about? I might be dumb. Here's this person named Jessica, a 31-year-old speech language pathologist in Murrieta, California. Said her $150,000 in graduate student loans carried a monthly payment of just $592 under SAVE, low enough to make life's milestones feel achievable. Sure, but you also did decide and chose to borrow that $140,000, I will say. And also, it was your choice to go for speech pathologist. And also, in the new Big Beautiful Bill, right, that was signed, it caps what people are able to borrow for college, including graduate degrees, which you would think, let's see, we're only time's going to tell, but you would think that the market would then demand, right, that schools will raise their tuition by less because they can't get that infinite amount of money anymore because there's a cap on what people can borrow from the federal government. Oh, I realized, oh, wow, my loans are much more manageable and affordable. I can have a kid. I could buy a house, Ochala said. So then I did those things. Having a kid, that's obviously encouraged, but you know what this is essentially saying? By her borrowing that money and paying it back at a lower amount so that she can go buy a house, that essentially equals taxpayers subsidize her buying a house. You can make that connection. Yeah, Bucky's blanket. Now, other repayment options quote her monthly payments of $1,500. She plans to remain in forbearance, which means interest is just accruing. Well, forbearance? I think so. Until a new payment program is launched next summer, which will require a roughly $1,200 monthly payment. Okay, and that's, it's there. That is more help, right? So here's the projected increase in lifetime student loan access. Those enrolled in SAVE plan under new plans. Okay, so we're going. Okay, wait. Projected increase of lifetime loan payments. Okay. So these look like big numbers, but they're lifetime loan payments. Those 36 to 45, the highest. I like how black and other are very, very similar. And same with the 36 to 45, but we really call the alarm towards this. Very large voter demographic. very large, like, social advocacy demographic. Then this one, at least nothing's close here, but graduate degree, yeah, it makes sense. But you're going for a second degree, you would borrow more, meaning you're going to have to pay back more. Who the fuck would have thought? It's a shock. It's a shock. So obviously, I would assume that this is indicating that more people in the SAVE plan are in this age range. People who have taken advantage of it are usually more black, and graduate degrees is where that tends to be. President Trump's tax law will eliminate most existing income-driven repayment plan. Here, let's zoom in on this. And I don't think I can scroll left and right, unfortunately, with this mouse. Tax law will eliminate most existing income-driven repayment plans next summer for new borrowers, replacing them with 2 repayment options. Current borrowers will have access to the unlimited plans until July 1st, 2028. Oh, 2028 is actually pretty damn while away, is it not? Court ruling could end SAVE sooner. Oh. SAVE was introduced in 2023, so 2 years ago, after the Supreme Court blocked former President Joe Biden's sweeping student loan forgiveness plan. The program was positioned as an alternative form of relief and slash monthly payments, in part by basing them on a lower percentage of borrower's discretionary income. Again, I've seen people who make a lot of money on my show in these income-based repayment programs being subsidized by all of us, essentially. Doesn't 100% seem fair. But I get it. Again, we want to subsidize certain things that are low income positions, or income positions, but are pretty important, like teachers. I could see that. Does a big beautiful bill force my ex-wife to pay back the student loan she took out of my name? I don't think so. I unfortunately do not think so for you. Subsidize how? They're still making payments? Well, they're making like $90,000, but because of this, they're making like $25 payments on the degree that they got in order to make their $90,000. Like, that's kind of fucking crazy, right? Many borrowers paid nothing under SAVE, see? And those with low balances were eligible for forgiveness earlier than under other programs. But higher education advocates worried from the start whether the plan would survive. The program faced immediate legal challenges from Republican-led states. A court ruling last summer blocked parts of the program, and SAVE borrowers were placed in a no-interest forbearance. Oh, no interest forbearance. But interest started today, right? Friday today, I think. Earlier this year, a federal appeals court issued a new injunction blocking its implementation. The Education Department subsequently said it can no longer keep SAVE borrowers from accruing interest. And that's where she started today. So it's gotten a lot more expensive for tens of thousands of people out there. Department of Education is working through a backlog of nearly 2 million applications from borrowers seeking to switch repayment plans, according to a May report filed in continuing litigation. Starting next summer, so next summer from now, okay, this is a new article. New borrowers will have just 2 options: a revised version of the existing standard plan, which I believe is going from 10 or 20 years. I still prefer 10 because that, it tackles it in a decent, reasonable amount of time while keeping the interest accruing under control. If the Department of Education teachers paid better, wouldn't they have been sometime in the last 40 years? It's not an unfair point. This isn't David Ramsey. Or a new program called the Repayment Assistance Plan, or RAP. Okay, that's a little racist. What's going on here? An analyst by the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania estimates that borrowers' lifetime loan payments will increase by nearly $3,700 on average under the new plans. Shelley Cornwell, a 55-year-old blah, 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 person, real life story, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so she'll be doing the RAP plan. Estimated she'll have to pay $700 a month. Okay, what did she do? She was doing $100 a month under SAVE. Yeah, what's her degree? What's her job? $30,000 in student loan debt for what? Well, I kind of want to know what life choices you made to get to that. So, I don't know. As a lot of the student loan news is coming out, obviously, chatter is happening online. But let's go over some of the TikToks first of people not able to pay back their debt in the student loan world. And then we're going to go over what some of the social media chatter is. I love a good Twitter until a tip pops up. Actually, I extra love that. Unfortunately, just not great for stream. So yeah, let's see what some of the TikToks are going about.
I graduated college with my degree in education, I left with a little under $28,000 in student loans. I, to date, have
$20,000 though. If I'm not mistaken, median's closer to about $40,000, so she is under.
paid $37,000 back to my student loans since 2008, but I still owe like 58,000.
Well, 58,000. So this is what happens, right? This is what happens when you get in the lower income based repayment plans is your interest still accrues at the same amount. And now you're making less. You're making payments that are less than just the interest accruing, meaning your balance is going to borderline and definitely go up forever. Is it always the most productive? Helps you on a month-to-month basis, but it keeps a weight. It keeps something around your neck just taking you down forever. Yeah, must own a gold mine in Uganda. That's how you can afford gifting all those subs. It's true.
The math isn't mathing. I'm not great at math, but the math isn't mathing there. So I've actually paid off my student loans.
$69,000 in a private student loan.
I owe the government $31,000
It's less than the 40,000.
to go to college. But I can't pay that because college didn't even get me a job. It literally
What degree did you go for?
didn't get me a job. So I owe $31,000 and I don't have a job.
So I never thought I would be the person to
If you got a bullshit degree, then I wouldn't be surprised you didn't get the job. Skip the Reddit post. This is kind of bullshit. I don't really care about that. I like listening to people talk.
think this way, but I honestly believe that in 2025 and on, college is a scam.
I don't know if it's a scam, but you can definitely go about it in a scammy way, right? Like, if there's a promise that you're going to get a great job, that's not a good promise. You know? No, you should go to community college, get your prereqs. I don't care if you're wanting to go to a college that has a good football games, doesn't matter. And go into an in-state public institution for another 2 years after that and go into a degree that has a return on investment. You can go about college in an incredibly dumb way, and if any advisors are promising you're going to have a better life and a better job, then that would constitute as a scam, in my opinion. But the overall market, I wouldn't say is a technical scam, but you can go about it in a horribly ridiculous, stupid way.
I don't believe, unless you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer,
Teacher, you still got to get a degree.
or something like that, that you should need to go to college. I feel like
Yeah, I wish we had more accelerated programs, right? Like, I don't need a business major to go and have to take a fucking language class. I don't need a business major to go have to take an arts class. I don't need an econ major to go through that shit. I don't need an engineer to have to take an art class. I don't need someone going to art to have to take a fucking business class, you know? Like, let's do more accelerated programs instead of these stupid 4-year requirements, gen ed, all this stuff. There's some good basic flatline things you should get, but let's get some more accelerated programs going.
it is basically just a status symbol for most parents to say like their kid is going to like a prestigious college or
Yeah, and if it's for the parents, then the parents should fucking pay for it at that point.
college in general. It's overpriced. Like 75% of students
Overpriced
don't
for sure.
work in the field that they got their degree in.
Fair.
I also feel like many of the professors have a very outdated mentality, and that's how they teach. I also feel like
Maybe it's hard to say, but I don't know. My accelerated program for vet tech costs $20,000. Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. I got a liberal studies degree, but luckily I got a great job at making $100,000 plus. That's awesome. Any type of bachelor for, fair enough. Yeah, and of course now we're just entering a harder job market, right? Of people exiting college having a higher unemployment rate than the overall unemployment rate in the country. So it is hard. Yeah, she is making some pretty broad statements.
Let me guess. You're just using an investing app that doesn't invest in you. It is time to change that. Right now, Webull is offering up to a 3.5% match when you open an IRA with them. That is real money going into your retirement, not just points or coupons. And that's just the start. Deposit $100 and you get 30 days of Webull Premium. Anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 sitting around in your account, move it to Webull and get $200 in cash. And if you worked your way up to $5 million, that's $30,000 in your account just for moving it over. It is not just about the perks though. Webull provides the tools that serious investors want as well. TradingView integration, real-time data, zero commission trades. It actually works on all your devices. And now through September 30th, you can stack even more. Get a $100 cash bonus for a $2,000 deposit, plus a 2% cash back on all deposits, and a 30-day premium voucher, and a 4% APY booster on any uninvested cash. It doesn't get better than this, so stop overpaying for a platform that gives you nothing back and make the switch to Webull. Go to Webull.com/K/Caleb or hit the QR code or the link below. Let's get back to the show.
Working in a trade, such as like plumbing, electrician, contract work, contractors, people who have like a skill or a trade, they don't need to go to college. Like you can learn how to do that.
Yeah, trade school. Yeah, I mean, of course.
On your own. I also feel like the tuition is out of control. It's like average college is $50,000 a year.
Yeah, Europe's very different. In some countries in Europe, in middle school, you get assessed and sorted into different kinds of school, university, college, trade. I don't necessarily like how early they do it in Europe, but the college way, you know, everyone advocates, well, college is free in Europe. Yeah, but they're also a lot harder to get into, a lot more selective, and they don't just like, not everyone can do any kind of bullshit degree you want. They don't have the administrator class that we have, you know, this crazy, like one administrator per student. WGU is great. Yeah, I see a decent amount of those degrees online, right?
And then your
master's in music composition. Yeah, I mean, I was undergrad music composition. Back in time, I would have slapped myself.
left with most people an astronomical amount of student debt that takes years and years and years and years to pay off. And most of the time, you don't even get a job right out of college.
And don't get
I
a
feel like
bullshit
people
degree.
who are my age were like indoctrinated into thinking that if we got a college degree, we got a bachelor's degree, we would be set for life.
There's a part of that that's true. I mean, you know, the prevailing narrative, I feel like we're pretty similar ages, right? Was your high school counselor was like, college, 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 college. Everything's about taking your SATs or whatever you do in junior year. College, 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 college. Got to prepare so you can do this in college. This won't fly in college. College, college, college. It's like, it's everything just preps you for college constantly. Which public schools could be specialized. Not all of them, because it's understandable to not know what you want to do yet, but many people have at least an idea. That's fair. That's fair to be able to go to some specialized schools. Send off, live in a dorm maybe. Could be good. We were lied to by our parents. Yeah, well, I mean, again, it was the prevailing narrative. College, college, college is all, right? So, I mean, even my parents, it was like college, college, college. I don't blame them. I you know, definitely not angry about them. You know, I turned out okay, but this is what makes sense because they didn't go to college. My mom went back to college, but yeah, that was just the prevailing theory at the time. Thanks, Solus Genji, for the tier 1 sub on Twitch.
That is so not true. And now I'm thinking, like, for my daughter, unless she wants to be like a doctor or a lawyer, she doesn't need to go to college.
People with a bachelor degree still statistically do make about double the lifetime income as a overall statistic. So there's still something to be said, but I get her sentiment.
It's not a prerequisite for her. And another thing, I think the whole college structure is like how I said it was status. It's also been like glamorized for making friends, being in
it's adult
sorority.
daycare.
Let's check in on my debt payoff journey as someone who graduated college 4 years ago with $35,000 worth of student loans. In total, I graduated with 9 separate different student loans.
Did you know that 40% of those who borrow for school drop out of school and don't get a degree? It's rough. I was one of those.
8 of which were owed to the federal government and 1 of which was a private loan that was owed to a family member. All of these ranged in rates from 0% to 4.8% interest. Now, when I first graduated college,
If that's true, though, you should get on a standard repayment 10-year program and do no more than the minimum monthly payment and invest the rest. or pay off higher interest debt, or start saving for an emergency fund.
College student loans were on pause, and instead of using this time to pay this down aggressively, instead I took that money and I really saved and invested aggressively.
Yeah, she
However,
has the
once these were unpaused in October of 2023, my game plan was really to prioritize these one by one, starting with the highest interest rate. So what I would do is I would pay the minimum on all of them except for the one that had the highest interest rate. For the one that had the highest interest rate, I would pay a couple $100 extra per month, and then in addition, when I get any sort of
She's smart. We don't need to talk about her.
Okay, I think my payment might have hit. Yes.
Oh, fuck it. I recognize that. I think that's on that, isn't it? Oh, $99,241.83. Oh, accrued interest. That's not on a monthly basis. No, okay, thank fuck. But still, almost $4,000 of accrued interest for her alone. That's fucking crazy.
Okay, so it's finally below six figures. Slay. And then I'll probably do a $2,000 extra payment, which will hopefully go towards the principal here within like the next day or so. Okay, so with my current plan, this is when I'll have it paid off.
That is 10 years. That's actually okay. I can accept that.
But I'm trying to speed that up, so let's see how this number changes.
Yeah,
they're about to start garnishing wages for these unpaid student loans. Girl, I knew we was unified and not paying.
We was unified, girl. We was. But we was not, actually, is what we've learned.
But girl, we got to stay unified with what we got coming up. So here's what I will recommend.
Your unified recommendation will be everyone gets their wages garnished. I don't think that's going to benefit the people that you was advocating for.
If you can file for deferment, because I knew they stopped doing the income-based repayment plans. They stopped doing that a minute ago. But if you can still do the deferment, I would
which is temporary, but interest has started accruing today. Guy's not helping his people that is advocating for here. Come on. Those who are advocating to group together are about to get fucked.
recommend applying for that because I just got approved for the deferment. If you want to know if you can get approved for the deferment, if you receive any type of public assistance, I'm talking like Medicaid, if you could get $5 worth of food stamps. Okay, if you could get $5 worth of food stamps, send them that approval letter and you will be deferred. My stuff just got deferred until...
Is that the life we want to be proud of? I'm sorry. Listen, I understand that there is a place for it with those that need help, but it's almost like proud of this. It's almost like proud of the fact that he's not out there fucking grinding and making a killing and trying to improve his life, but instead that he's getting a benefit. It's really weird. Oh, thanks for the $20.
October. Okay, girl, that's what we're going to have to do. And then by that time, I'm going to be back in school. Okay.
Imagine literally being so fucking borderline entitled. I don't think that's necessarily the right word for this, but hiding from paying off the debt that you decided to take out, that you just go back into school instead of going out there and actually trying to make something yourself in order to not have to pay it yet. Just an endless kick the can down the road. It's the people I avoid in my life, in my personal life, I should say. All right, it's back to hustle.
Because I'm not fit to play with them.
Fista? I know Finna. What's Fista? Is that a new debt repayment program? Fista?
I don't have it. You
Because you're not going out there and working. You're talking about going back to school.
get your little money. And I knew something was coming, which is why I looked up on it. Because I don't know who's been checking their credit, but I haven't paid my student loans. Right? I was on the repayment plan like back in 2020. Once the pandemic hit, I stopped paying altogether. Okay. Right? But I was on the repayment plan. Then they stopped the repayment plans, and I just been watching my credit. Back in March, my credit took like a hit of like
honestly, good. You deserve it. This was the choice you made. I mean, what the fuck are we doing? I don't fucking know, man. Come on. My credit score went up 79 points in one day. Yeah, good choices lead to good results. Who would have thought? This person's seeing the opposite. Fuck, man. I don't know. He's fisted to have having a low credit score his entire life.
200 points because I ain't never paid them people. And I was like, oh, this is bad. And I was about to get it taken off my credit, but I know that that was the longest item on my credit was them student loans.
Yeah.
So I was like,
let me at 18. Who would have thought?
see if I could get a deferment or what other options they have. So, and I applied like 2
Anything and everything besides actually paying the debt you took out. When you fista, go deep. Put some spit on that fista.
weeks ago, and it just went through like yesterday. It just went through like yesterday, girl. But yeah, because I knew something was coming. Because like all that time I hadn't paid and it just wasn't showing up on my credit report. But it was like back in March, like mid-March, they had put it on my credit report. I was like, I don't trust that girl, but garnishing wages is crazy.
Is it? Is it? You fucking borrowed and you're refusing to pay back. Is it? Is it? Sure, credit scores are weighed differently in the UK, but my Experian hasn't moved from 999 in years. Yeah, we can't get to 1,000. I don't think. I think max is 900 in the US, right? 900? 850? Fuck, I don't remember.
Garnishing wages is crazy. We all fist to be hitting the streets.
We all fist to be hitting the streets.
Okay?
We all fist to be hitting the streets. We're going to look at some of the chatter online about this. They forgiving your student loans if you join ICE. Cannot even make up something so hypocritical. I don't know about the hypocritical part. I mean, what's the hypocritical thing specifically? The standard process for hiring incentives for many federal government positions is not unique to ICE. Yeah, see, and that's why I was like, why is it hypocritical? It can be pro or anti-ICE. That doesn't make it hypocritical or not. You can get college paid for if you serve in the military. Seems like that's okay. But have to buy their own hoods, or are those standard issue? I get it. In French, does it work? I don't think it works that way. Why do I need to do two-factor authorization to access my student loans? Well, if someone wants to log in and pay them, they can have at it. Fair enough. Maybe they can go in there and fucking apply for something too, though. I don't know. Starting today, we will begin charging interest for student loans in the illegal SAVE plan. The Department of Education, the own Twitter plan said. If you're a borrower in the SAVE plan, please visit studentaid.gov to switch plans today. Let's see.
Borrowers enrolled in the SAVE plan. On August 1st, the Department of Education will resume charging interest on your loans. This change is required by law. When you take out a loan, you must pay it back. The Biden administration attempted loan forgiveness to win.
Remember, the court did find SAVE illegal. They did.
Points with their voters.
You're saying this is an AI video? Wait, let me look.
But federal courts have repeatedly ruled these acts.
I think she's just Botox to the max in the cheeks and whatnot. I mean, she's McMahon, right? She's McMahon's wife.
Actions are unlawful. The truth is, there is no such thing as loan forgiveness. It's just shifting debts from one party to another. The Trump administration will not allow the American taxpayer to take on debts that are not their own. The department stands ready.
Yeah, her mouth does move weird. I just think it's like needle, Botox.
Ready to help you identify a new and legal.
Changing the rules classic? No, I mean, the rules on this were changed in 2023 with the SAVE plan. And then that's when it then got challenged and then pretty much said it was illegal after a year. So I guess that was more the change.
Repayment plan.
And then the new student loan repayment options were passed into law via legislation from both chambers, Congress, and then signed into law by the president. So that's actually a little more than just, what the Department of Education decided to do with the SAVE plan, which was not passed by Congress.
If you are a borrower enrolled in the illegal SAVE plan, please visit studentaid.gov to learn about affordable repayment options.
Definitely reads like a late night infomercial. What's illegal is U.S. politicians accepting bribes from companies that have an interest in rewriting legislation that serves their profit goals. What's illegal is U.S. politicians treasonously accepting those bribes and then passing legislation that uniquely strips the Constitution. Strips constitutional bankruptcy protections afforded to every citizen. You and everyone who has gone before you in that office should be ashamed of yourselves. SAVE plan loans are still in forbearance due to pending litigation, but the administration decides to start charging interest on those balances. So instead of making it easier for us to repay our loans, you all decided to add interest. Well, you could at least, sure, I can see this argument, but you do have the ability, even if you're in deferment, to then go pay at least what interest is accruing, or even a little more to start making net additional. She's going to close that office. That guy will be happy. Yeah, I know they want to pretty much strip the Department of Education, right? Lucky Linda went to college in 1966 and didn't have to worry about taking out loans. Yeah, but the thing here, the argument that this person should probably advocate for, Mr. Corporal Chris, is the fact that because you can borrow as much as you want, borderline, for student loans, colleges have been allowed and actually encouraged to raise the cost of college indefinitely because anyone will borrow whatever it takes to go. So now there's actually a cap on what you can borrow, which hopefully will discourage the obscene raises in tuition. We don't know for a fact because people could just go and take out private student loans. We'll see if the market meets that demand or if colleges will respond because all of a sudden students are not able to take out the loans required to go to them, so they will figure new things out. In college at this point, it's just a fucking business for endowments, right? This is crazy. The endowments are fucking wild at this point. Just billions and billions and billions of dollars being invested. All businesses get bailouts and bankruptcy except higher education. Yeah, the lack of being able to declare bankruptcy is a uniquely interesting thing when it comes to your federal student loans. Focus on the cause. High tuition by these corrupt colleges and universities. No, it's because you can borrow for whatever it takes. So obviously they're going to ask for you to take as much money and give them as much money as you want. Honestly, a part of me is like, shit. Uganda pissed me the fuck off. Yeah, today's episode is crazy. Do you have any Bitcoin? Yes, about 1% of my portfolio. Can we buy Hammercoin? Not yet. You see Fed governor resigned. I did not see that. We are going to look at the job numbers in a second. But what I was going to say is a part of me worries that instead of they'll just bring in more foreign students because they just like pay in cash. So that's my fear. Exactly. And universities are making so much from international students. My fear is they'll just prioritize accepting them. So we'll see. Nice. When I borrow, I have to pay it back. So should students, which is fair, but just need more education on what people want to do after college, how the route they should go in college and what degrees they should get. You should never borrow more for a degree than you're going to make in your entry level first year in that position is the overall general financial guidance that is advised out in the marketplace. SAVE is not a loan forgiveness program. Actually, no. SAVE does offer earlier forgiveness, but a loan repayment program. And kind of, for what it's worth. Remember, I mean, some payments on SAVE are literally $0 is counted as a payment, you know? So, interesting thing there. Hey, Caleb Hammer stream fans, make sure you get your financial score for free. Take the assessment at calebhammer.com or dollarwise.com. It's free. See where you stand in the world of finances.